Rise and downfall of Jaguar Motors. Imagine if all the cars in the world were made in the UK and Brexit uncertainty was only your fourth or fifth biggest worry. This is the worst case scenario for Jaguar Land Rover, which lost money in the first half of 2018 because sales dropped, costs went up, and production stopped. Since Tata Motors bought the struggling Land Rover SUV and Jaguar sports sedan brands from Ford Motor in 2008, JLR has done well in the business world. Ralph Speth, the former BMW executive who was hired to turn around the British company, JLR, says that at the time JLR was near bankruptcy. Welcome to Money Magnets. In today's video, we will tell you everything about the rise and downfall of Jaguar Motors. But before we start the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon for more updates. JLR's German premium competitors almost tripled sales from 241,000 in 2011 to 604,000 in 2017. JLR has made a lot of money off the growing demand for SUVs around the world. It has set record profit after record profit, with a high of £2.6 billion or 2.9 billion euros in 2015 financial year. Now fast forward to 2018, the company lost £354.1 million in the first half of its fiscal year in 2019, and this led the S&P Global Ratings to lower the credit ratings of Tata Motors and JLR, saying that JLR's profits were lower than expected. In response, JLR plans to cut costs by laying off workers and cutting its research and development budget. JLR has already cut back on production and cut the number of contract workers because of falling sales. One of its four assembly plants in the UK is more likely to close, and the stumbling Jaguar brand will probably have to make a big change as a result. Tata Motors publicly supported its troubled UK subsidiary, JLR, just before Christmas when rumors were flying about JLR's future. Tata Motors and JLR chairman Natarajan Chandrasekaran said in an email in December 24 that the rumors of Tata Motors wanting to sell its stake in JLR or stop making Jaguar cars are not true. We have great faith in the potential of JLR's distinctive premium products and brands, as well as in JLR's design and engineering capabilities, he said. During the company's second quarter earnings call in November, JLR's chief financial officer Ken Gregor told analysts that the sharp drop in profits was due to China. It's always the hardest thing to do, he said. Gregor said that falling consumer confidence and changes in import tariffs were to blame for the 44% drop in JLR sales in China during the quarter. As a result, JLR drastically cut production in the UK and at its joint venture plant in Changshu near Shanghai to reduce the number of unsold cars. Changshu has been closed for most of October, Gregor said. China was JLR's biggest market in 2017 with 146,399 sales, according to the company. When the Changshu plant opened in 2014, the Range Rover Evoque was the first model made there. The Land Rover Discovery Sport and long wheelbase versions of the Jaguar XE and XF sedans followed. The Jaguar E-Pace is likely to be the next model made in China. But JLR's dealers in the world's largest car market don't like the locally built cars. They tell us that they lose money selling those vehicles, Gregor said. He added that JLR plans to end the vicious circle of pushing ever higher incentives to support an unsustainable level of volume in China. If that means accepting lower volume to allow our own profitability to be rebuilt, then that's what we will look to support too. Gregor said China's drop to JLR's fourth largest global market over the past 10 months means that the country is no longer a cash machine for the company. At one point, Bernstein analyst Max Warburton estimated that JLR made £60,000 of profit on each Range Rover SUV it sold in China. Company profitability was too independent on China, Warburton told Automotive News Europe. It covered up a lot of cracks elsewhere. One of these cracks is excess capacity in JLR's growing production network. The Chinese slowdown is happening at the same time as the opening of JLR's new factory in Slovakia, the expansion of its Chinese plant, and the start of production for Jaguar's E-Pace SUV and full electric I-Pace, which are both being made by contract manufacturer Magnus Steyr in Austria. Three industry experts who spoke with A&E think that JLR will close its Castle Bromwich site for good. It will be a shopping center within 5 years, said Warburton. The site is small and only makes about 50,000 cars a year. The cars it does make are Jaguar slow-selling sedans. The biggest question is, How do you build in Slovakia and keep both Halewood and Solihull, said Warburton. Slovakia is supposed to start making the replacement for the Land Rover Defender this year, but it needs more work because of its size, 150,000 vehicles a year with the potential to grow to 300,000 and its much lower cost base. It was supposed to build the Jaguar XE and XF when their replacements came out around 2023, but it seems unlikely that those cars will survive. Jaguar hampered Land Rover's success when Ford owned both brands, and it looks like Jaguar's troubles have returned. Just as Ford failed to expand Jaguar's lineup with the X-Type midsize sedan, JLR has also failed with either the XE or the bigger XF, despite both using a bespoke rear-wheel drive aluminum platform that helped them match the dynamic abilities of BMW equivalents. Still, Jaguar is selling about 4 times as many cars as it did when Tata first took over. This is mostly because of the F-Pace and the recently released E-Pace SUVs. However, global sales of the brand's best-selling F-Pace fell by 25% from January to October, which suggests that the E-Pace is taking some sales away from its sister model. IHS Markit principal analyst Tim Urquhart said that the sedans have been held back by their generic looks and tough competition from BMW. Audi and Mercedes-Benz, the XE and XF are competent, but against the Germans, they're a bit of a waste of time, he said, adding that they probably won't survive, so the brand needs a bold plan. Staying still and keeping it the same is not an option, he said. The bold plan is to turn Jaguar into an electric brand. It's definitely an advanced plan, and it's only a matter of time before it's signed off, said a person who knew about the situation but asked to remain anonymous. Jaguar has already launched the battery-powered I-Pace SUV, beating Mercedes and Audi to market. UK media reports says that the XJ sedan will be remade as an electric car. The problem is that it won't help profitability at first. JLR CFO Gregor admitted that the I margins paces are lower, even though it costs 15% more than an equivalently equipped F-Pace. He said that the I-Pace was more useful for helping JLR meet stricter CO2 targets in markets like Europe and China. They need someone like Volvo CEO Håkan Samuelsson. He scrapped the old production plants, got rid of 6-cylinder engines and diesels, and said, "We don't try to do everything because we can't," a senior UK car industry executive told A&E on condition of anonymity. "I don't see any signs JLR is thinking like that," he said. JLR says that the days when it had an EBIT margin of 14%, which it did in its 2015 financial year, are long gone. CFO Gregor said that the automaker is aiming for an EBIT margin of between 7% and 9%. JLR's EBIT margin fell to 3.8% in its last financial year. "That's not a number that we like at all," Gregor said. S&P said that products have just come out or are coming out soon could help boost growth, but that competition in the luxury car market could hurt margins. JLR's problems aren't unique. Global uncertainties, the shift to electric cars, and competing demands on tech investment are all lowering automaker profit forecasts. JLR, however, is in a worse position than any of its bigger premium rivals. To fix this, JLR has come up with a plan called Project Charge that calls for a saving £2.5 million in 2018. S&P, on the other hand, thinks that the company's goal to cut costs is too high. It predicts that JLR will have significant negative free operating cash flows over the next 2 years, which will weaken Tata Motors' financial ratios. Even so, JLR's cash flow will be bad in the short term. "We expect negative cash flow this year, and it may be negative next year and the year after that as well," said JLR Treasurer Ben Bergbauer during the Q2 analyst call. Gregor also said that JLR might have to cut jobs, he said. "The kind of cost cuts we want to make are really not possible without also cutting employment costs and employment levels. Bernstein's Warburton thinks the plan would work if they're willing to make hard choices. The problem with JLR is not revenues and margins, but costs and outgoings," he said. "It's just been running so fast and that it's reached an eye-opening level of spending. In theory, Land Rover is hugely profitable." That's it for today, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get the latest update about the freshest and interesting content we keep on posting.